Hey guys, welcome to the NovaCare channel. In this video, we are gonna talk a bit about knee pain and recommend you some exercises you can perform to improve your pain. So, in the first place, we are gonna talk about the different kinds of knee pain and which ones we will talk about in this video. So we have knee osteoarthritis. We have done a video about osteoarthritis in our channel, so you can check it out if you want to know more about it. Also tendinopathies, again, you will find our second video about them. Also conservative meniscus tears or ACL injury. We are talking about the ones which are conservative, meaning no surgery has been done to them. Also knee luxations or ligament sprains. And patellofemoral pain in general, which is knee pain. We are not gonna talk about surgical procedures because they probably require more personalized guidance to avoid messing up our knees. So if any of these cases applies to you, then we can continue with the program. So which are the prerequisites to start the program? Relative normal walking, some kind of limping may be a result of bigger damage to the knee. But again, if you have already checked with your doctor, then you can continue with the program. Also, relative lack of swelling. If the swelling is being controlled and has been checked, then there's no problem. So in general, this video is aimed to those people who have checked with their doctor for their pathology and their doctor has told them to exercise. If this is your case, then this exercise program will work for you. Okay, so we are first gonna talk a little bit about the general guidelines of this program. This is a chart based on a study that was done on the loading of the patellofemoral joint in different exercises. This has been used a bit as a guide to decide which exercise to provide in each phase of training. You can use it if you want to get more ideas about your own training. It's gonna be there for you to check out. Of course, not every exercise is shown here, but it's a good guideline. And this is a tendinopathy rehabilitation guide in which it's shown how to progress the intensity and the kind of exercises towards different goals. This is mostly aimed at running rehab and sports rehab, but in our case, it will be a good guideline to follow. Again, just so that you know what we are focusing on and which are our goals, we will go from easier kind of exercises to more specific, explosive, and plyometric kind of exercises. Also, we are going to talk about the pain monitoring model, which we have talked before in this channel, but it's a way of assessing if we are performing our exercises in an intensity that is according to what we should be doing. Pretty much the general guideline, as you can see, it's explained in there, but the most important thing is if you are doing an exercise, it's normal to feel some sort of discomfort. What we don't want is that discomfort to become an increase in pain. So if when performing exercises you feel a pain higher than 5 out of 10, then it's probably being a bit too intense. Again, this is just a model. In certain cases, the window in which we need to perform intensity for the body to generate adaptations is very small, so we may perform exercises at an intensity higher than the body can tolerate, and that will lead to pain. It is all a normal part of treatment, and adjustments are meant to be done as we progress through training. So the training program is not something fixed, but it's something malleable that should change along the process. As I said, Pain will lead intensity and tolerable activities. If certain exercise makes you feel an increase in pain the day after, then it's probably a good idea either to decrease the intensity of that exercise or just remove it from the program. Start with one set of 10 reps when introducing new exercises and then progressively advance to 3 sets of 10. So we may do one set of 10 on the first day we try an exercise, then next day try 2 sets, and then perform 3 sets of 10, which is gonna be our final number. Increase repetitions, 1 per day or 1 per training session, until you reach 18 or 20 or just high numbers, and then increase the difficulty of the exercise and decrease the reps, go back to 10 and repeat the procedure again. Perform these exercises once every day, and as program progresses, you can decrease the frequency, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Before advancing, I want to say that this is just an example in which we are gonna work. There is no perfect exercise program. These are just guidelines that should be adjusted according to your needs and symptoms. So phase 1 of the program are gonna be low intensity exercises. Our goal is to prepare the joint and create adherence to the training program. As exercises, I'm gonna show you, we have laying knee extensions, which are gonna train one of the most painful movements in the knee, which is the last degrees of extension. It's gonna allow us to train it in a non-painful way, so that when we are loaded, our body is used to that sort of load. Then chair squats, sitting knee extensions without any weight, and step ups. These are just light exercises to prepare our body and to get used to training. These are meant to be the lowest intensity exercises. If when you try them you feel absolutely no pain, absolutely no effort, then you may be in a more advanced state, so you can proceed to the next one. In general, when should we proceed to the next phase? When our pain has decreased a little bit after doing the exercises, or after a couple of weeks with good tolerance to them, we are ready to proceed to next phase to increase the loading and increase the adaptations. Then phase 2, it's gonna be an increase in loading. We are gonna also introduce other leg musculature to prepare all our lower limb for more intense demands. We have wall squats and hip thrusts, which we are gonna do without any weight. Squats and heel raises, and banded knee extensions and banded knee flexions. As you can see, this is gonna turn into a more complete program, and it's increasing the intensity of some of the previous exercises we did. As we said before, if tolerance is good, if we are feeling our leg stronger and less painful, we are ready to proceed to next phase. Time spent in this phase should be around 2 to 4 weeks. Then phase 3 is gonna be the introduction of plyometrics, and also we are gonna continue loading and adding intensity to our exercises. Before showing you the exercise, I wanna say why it's important to introduce plyometrics. A lot of the times we have no pain when performing daily activities, yet when getting out of the car, when trying to go down the stairs, when getting down from a high place, we feel pain. That's because our knees aren't prepared to that sort of impact. It doesn't mean that we need to train like elite athletes, but adding some sort of controlled impact and quick contraction of the muscles is necessary for a proper rehab program and for having our knee prepared for every kind of situation it may go through. So we have lunges and weighted squats. which we are going to introduce, of course, the weight little by little. We have one leg hip thrusts and one leg calf raises, doing it one leg to increase the intensity. And we have plyometrics, static hops, and side-to-side hops, which are gonna prepare the knee for those sort of impacts we talked about before. Then phase 4 is gonna be return to sport or long-term activities. There's no need to focus in the more extreme of plyometric exercises if you don't have that sport demand. If in your case you just wanna walk around and do your normal sports like maybe cycling, going to the gym without any pain, focus in increasing non-impact loading. If in your case you are an athlete, you perform a sport which involves impact, then you have to keep increasing the intensity of plyometrics progressively. So we have weighted lunges and jumping squats, and we have box jumps and short bouts of running, which we can introduce slowly by maybe 2, 3, 5 minute sessions and increase our capacity from there. So what about long-term activities? So we have different options for keeping our pain in control on the long term. Cycling, training at home, going to the gym, or doing group classes, I'm talking strength training, are gonna all benefit and protect our knee on the long term. There's no point if I tell you to perform the exercise program that I showed you forever. The best recommendation would be to try to do an activity that you know you will perform in the long term. So if you like cycling, then keep cycling. If you know you are gonna go to the gym twice a week, that it's something you can do, then it's something you will be able to do in the long term. The idea is to do an strengthening activity that you will perform in the long term. How do I know if an exercise is good for my knees? Well, the question is simple. Does it make my knee stronger? Does it make my knee feel good? If the answer is yes, then keep performing it. If it makes your pain worse and if it doesn't look good for your knees, then it probably isn't. So what about Pilates, elliptical machine, and swimming, which are often recommended by doctors, by physios? Well, they are often recommended, but they are not the best option due to their low loading potential. We are not increasing the demands on our knee. I'm talking about overcoming resistance. The resistance offered by elliptical machines or Pilates machines or swimming is very low, but still it's better than nothing. So it wouldn't be my priority as recommendation. I would prefer someone to start going to the gym and doing progressive strengthening of the knee. But if you love swimming, you love Pilates, or you love the elliptical, and you know that you won't make it to the gym twice a week, but you are gonna be able to keep consistent training in either of these, then it's better than nothing. And finally, let's talk a little bit about impact activities, such as jumping rope, running, and different sports. Are they a permanent no? Well, the answer is in a lot of cases, not really. What do I mean by this? Certain conditions will lead to more definitive answers, like meniscus or ACL injuries, where an structure has been damaged forever and there is a weakness. However, adaptation is still possible with proper preparation. If we spend a lot of time doing a proper rehab program in which we progressively prepare our joint for impact, as we showed before, with little hops, with low impact plyometric exercises, our body can compensate and it is possible impact activities are suitable again. A lot of the times it's gonna be a matter of is it worth the effort and the risk, Well, if you are an athlete for which his sport career depends on it, then you are gonna make the effort. Or if you love running, is the sport you love the most, and you don't consider yourself ever doing another kind of sport, then you may try it. It will depend a lot in the kind of injury and how much you want to perform each kind of exercise. I would say try progressively after doing a proper rehab program and try to introduce the exercise you want to perform progressively. If it leads you to pain, go back a little bit, try to strengthen more the joint, and try again a couple of weeks later. And keep repeating this procedure. If after keeping for 6 months it's not possible for you to do that kind of activity without pain, then leave it. But in a lot of cases, impact activities will offer no increase in pain. So thank you so much for watching this video. I will leave you recommended down here a couple of videos we did before